Hello viewers, welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagwani. I am from Department of Computer Science, Arifat College, University of Delhi. Today's lecture is about representative problems of algorithm design. So basically this is the second part of our lecture. In the previous lecture we have seen what actually these representative problems of algorithm design mean, how many of them are there, and we have covered some of those problems. So basically in this lecture, with a quick recap of representative problems of algorithm design, I'll be taking the remaining problems. These problems are basic problems in the domain of algorithms, which nicely illustrates the major themes or techniques of algorithm design. After this, we are able to formulate a clean and simple statement of the problem. And as we have a statement of the problem, then we are able to determine the algorithm to solve the problem. So in this lecture, we will be just explaining the problems and looking into the solution just name wise. That means through which particular technique what problem will be solved. So in this representative problems of algorithmic domain, we have total 5 problems. One is interval scheduling, weighted interval scheduling, stable matching, bipartite matching, and independent sets. So out of these 5 problems, we have already covered 3 problems, which are interval scheduling, weighted interval scheduling, and stable matching. So for the details of these 3 problems, you can go to the previous lectures and you will find the details easily on the YouTube channel of CEC itself. For today's lecture, we are going to cover the 2 problems, bipartite matching and independent sets. Let me make one thing very clear here, that out of these 5 problems, 3 problems are related to graph theory, which are stable matching, bipartite matching, and independent set. And stable matching we have already covered in the previous lectures. Let me go with bipartite matching. So before going into bipartite matching, I need to see what actually a bipartite graph is. So basically, a bipartite graph, you can say, is one which is shown on the screen. So what is the speciality of this particular graph? For the sake of simplicity, the vertices are divided into 2 columns, or we can say 2 zones. So here you can see on the screen that one zone is having x1 to x5 vertices, and another zone or another column is having y1 to y5 vertices. And what is the specialty of this graph is, there is no such edge which is going which is from whose endpoints are in the same column. That means there is no edge which is going from x1 to x2, or maybe from x2 to x3, or from x3 to x4. So in each and every for each and every edge, you can see that one endpoint is in the one side of the vertices, and another endpoint is on the another side of the vertices. So these type of graphs are known as bipartite graphs. After bipartite graphs, we will go with the term bipartite matching. A graph which is represented in the form of a set of vertices and edges will be bipartite if its node set V, which is the set of vertices, can be partitioned into sets X and Y in such a way that every edge has one end in X and other end in Y. So that's what I have shown you in the figure. All the edges in that particular graph are having one end point into one side of the set, and one side of the set of vertices, and all the edges are having their other endpoint onto the other set of the vertices. So if such partition of the node set V of a graph is possible, then yes, we can say the graph is basically a bipartite graph. And I have shown you one on the screen. And as far as bipartite matching is considered, a matching M, it is going to be a subset of edges such that each node in the node set V appears in at most one edge in M. I repeat, a matching M is going to be subset of edges. So whatever edges are available in that bipartite graph, the matching M will take the subset of edges from that particular graph only, with the property that each node in V appears in at most one edge in M. So the vertices, I can say, cannot be repeated. So that is what you called a matching M is there. So again, one another bipartite graph is shown on the screen, which is having X and Y as the it's basically two partition sets. So X is having 4 vertices and Y is having 6 vertices. So again, this is not necessary that the number of vertices in both the partitions will be equal, but all the edges, as you can see, are sharing one endpoint on one side of the partition, and the another end point is on the another side of the partition. There is no such edge which is having both of its endpoints in one partition. So this is what you called a bipartite graph, or a bipartite matching is another subset of these edges only, as I have already told you. So a matching, when we define technically in a bipartite graph, is a set of the edges, basically a subset of those subset of edges of graph. So it is a set of edges chosen in such a way that no edges share an endpoint. That means there is no common endpoint should be there in between two edges. Such a subset of edges is known as matching. And when we have maximum matching, as the name indicates, a maximum matching is a matching of maximum size. That means the size here is maximum number of edges, and if we are going to add even a single edge in the maximum matching, that is no longer will be a matching. So maximum matching is the matching having maximum possible number of edges satisfying the criteria of matching in bipartite graph. But yes, there is no unique matching. No one can claim that there is a unique matching for a given bipartite graph. There can be more than one maximum matchings for the given bipartite graph. So with this foundation of bipartite graphs and bipartite matchings in the bipartite graphs, let me go with the practical applications of this bipartite graph. So we can say in search advertising, it is it is heavily used nowadays, and which is e-commerce. Another application is e-commerce for similarity rankings, we can say. Then bipartite graph along with the clustering or recommendations or collaborative filtering are very popular in today's era for research, and this is a hot topic for research. For example, in advertisement, a click graph is a bipartite graph with ads as one partition queries, and as the other with ads on the one partition and queries on the other partition, and the edge between these two partitions of ads and queries represents clicks. So whenever there is a click on one particular edge corresponding to a query, there is an edge. So these kinds of practical applications of these bipartite graphs are very heavily used, and these e-commerce matchings or these advertisement matchings are used to find similar advertised and related queries. So all these applications of bipartite graph are very popular nowadays, and they are attracting the attention span of researchers also. Now the one idea now the next step in our representative problems of algorithm design is, how are we going to solve this problem of bipartite matching, or how are we going to you know we can say, how are we going to find the instance of the maximum bipartite matching. So, in order to find the instance of maximum bipartite matching, we can use the algorithm of Ford-Fulkerson, and we can find a maximum matching in a bipartite graph in order mn time. But for this, we need to transform, or we can say we need to reduce this bipartite matching or bipartite graph. We need to reduce, or we need to transform this instance of bipartite graph into an instance of the flow network, and we can do this by reducing the problem of maximum bipartite matching to the network flow. So as and when we will be reducing the problem of maximum bipartite matching to the network flow, and then for the network flow we have the solution using Ford-Fulkerson algorithm. So this is what is the idea. That means the first we need to reduce the problem, and then we need to solve that particular problem. So this is what another representative problem of algorithmic domain is, that is bipartite matching. So in bipartite matching, we have one more commonly used term, which is called a perfect matching. A perfect matching is a matching in which each node has exactly one edge incident on it. So if given a bipartite graph, it is, we can say that it is having a perfect matching when we use to maximum flow algorithm to find the maximum matching and check if the size of matching equals to the number of nodes in each partition. So idea of finding the perfect matching is to use the maximum flow algorithm, and then to check whether the size of the matching is equals to number of nodes in each partition. If yes, then we can say yes, it is a perfect matching. Or Hall's theorem is another solution to check whether a matching is a perfect matching or not. So now, after exploring bipartite graph and bipartite matching in a considerable detail, let me explore the last problem in the series of representative problems of algorithm design. This problem is independent set. So now let us understand what is this problem is all about, and what are its application, and how we can solve this problem. So let us say we have given a graph G, which is, as usual, the representation says that it is the set of the vertices and edges, and there is a set of nodes S, which is going to be the subset of V. That means the members of that nodes are nothing but vertices of the graph, is considered to be independent if no two nodes in S are joined by an edges. I repeat, so S, which is a subset of the vertices set V, is independent if no two nodes in this set S are joined by an edge. So putting it very simply, I can say the set of non-adjacent vertices is called independent sets. So in independent set, whatever vertices which are non-adjacent to each other will be put into. So basically this independent set problem is example of the class of combinatorial optimization problems, or I can say it falls under the class of combinatorial optimization problems. And it is, famous with its different names like independent set. It is also called stable set. It is also called co-clique, or it is also called anti-clique. So it is, known by different names. So now independent set, I have told you independent set is the set of, which is the subset of V having all non-adjacent vertices. Now what is independent set problem? Coming to independent set problem, we can say, given a graph G, we need to find an independent set that is as large as possible. For example, we have, independent set can be many, and what we need to concentrate upon is this set which is as large as possible. That means the cardinality of that particular set should be maximum. Now, let us consider, in order to understand it more clearly, let us consider a daily, a daily routine or daily life problem. Let's say you have n friends, and some pairs of them don't get along with each other. They are not happy with each other. So, how large a group of your friends you can invite to dinner if you don't want any interpersonal tensions? You want to invite maximum friends as you can, but simultaneously you want to avoid any interpersonal tensions. So for this we need to simply calculate largest independent set. This will simply be the largest independent set in the graph, whose nodes are your friends obviously, with an edge between each conflicting pair. So what we will be selecting and putting in our final result set, all those friends or all those nodes which don't form a conflicting pair, and there is a conflicting pair when there is an edge. So when there is an edge, that means the nodes are adjacent. So we are avoiding, we are not taking adjacent nodes into it. So simply a largest independent set in which the edge between, there is an edge between each conflicting pair. So we will be choosing the largest independent set of this graph, where nodes are the friends with edges between each conflicting pair are there, and we will not choose any conflicting pair because we are not choosing any adjacent vertices. Now, for example, consider the graph which is shown on the screen. It is having 7 vertices, and now we need to find maximum size of an independent set for this particular graph. So for this particular graph, the maximum size of the independent set is 4, which is achieved by the 4 node set. These 4 nodes are 1, 4, 5 and 6. Now you can check on yourself that 1 is not adjacent to 4, neither to 5 nor to 6. Similarly, 4 is not adjacent to 5, not to 6. And lastly, 5 is also not adjacent to 6. So the maximum size of independent set for this particular graph is 4, and this maximum independent size of the maximum independent set, or cardinality of the maximum independent set, is denoted by alpha g. Alpha g is the symbol which is used to represent the number of members in the maximum independent set. Now let me make it clear one thing here, that interval scheduling problem and bipartite matching problem, both these problems we have already covered in our lectures of representative problems. So interval scheduling was covered in the first lecture of representative problems, and in this lecture we have covered bipartite matching before starting independent set. So interval scheduling and bipartite matching can both be encoded as a special case of the independent set problems. Now, independent set problem, as I have told you, that it represents or it belongs to the class of combinatorial optimization problems. So, as it belongs to one class, there are many computational problems which are related to this independent set problems, or we can say there are many versions of this independent set problems. These versions are, I'm just naming them: maximum independent set, or this is known as vertex packing also. Another is maximum weight independent set, as the name indicates. Here the weight of the components is obviously important, not just the number of the vertices, but yes, the weight too is very very important. Then maximal independent set listing and independent set decision. All these versions are the versions of independent set problem. So independent set problem in a general, if we talk about the solution, then we can say solution to this would have to implicitly contain algorithms for interval scheduling, bipartite matching, and a host of other natural optimization problem. As I have already told you that interval scheduling and bipartite matching are considered as special cases of independent set problem. So if we need to look at the solution of independent set problem, that solution will implicitly contain algorithms for interval scheduling, bipartite matching, and not only these two but a host of other natural optimization problems. But unfortunately, this independent set problem as a general belongs to the class of NP complete problem. So NP complete problems means there is no efficient algorithm which is known for solving this particular problem. So solving this particular problem, there is no efficient algorithm is known for any one of them, but they all are equivalent in the sense that if a solution to any one of them would imply in a precise sense a solution to all of them. That means there is a large class of problem in the name of independent set problems, and this class is NP complete. No efficient algorithm is available for any one of them, but if solution to any one of them is available, this would imply a solution to all of them. So it is basically a class of problems, I can say. Now, the question which naturally arises here, that if no efficient algorithm is known for the problem, how are we going to solve this problem? So please remember that I have said that there is no efficient algorithm is known, but yes, the approach which is used to solve this independent set problem is the obvious brute force algorithm. That is, to try all the subset of the nodes, checking each to see if it is independent. That means we need to figure out all the independent node sets, and then we need to find out the largest one among them. So basically, trying all the subset of nodes, checking each to see if it is independent or not, and then recording the largest one independent set which is encountered. But yes, there is a general problem with the brute force algorithm, that assuming that a graph is having, let's say, 100 you can say vertices, and that is a dense graph. That means it is having so many edges also. So now applying brute force algorithm with even a graph of 100 nodes is going to be very very costly in terms of its time. So the time complexity of brute force algorithm obviously is very very high. But this problem, as I have told you, belongs to NP complete problems. There is no efficient algorithm which is known for all. Now coming to the applications of this independent set problems, as I have told you that there are many versions of this problem available, and we have seen names of some, which is vertex cover, then weighted independent set problems, and two more. Coming to the applications, because of the versions available, yes, applications are enormous, you can say. You can find application of these independent set problems into computer vision for pattern recognition. Then these are very very useful in information and coding theory, and molecular biology, which is a very kind of hit domain nowadays, I can say. Molecular biology also having applications for this independent set problem, and the normal which is scheduling problems which we see in our daily life, that also encounter the that also comes under the application of independent set problems. So in this lecture now, I'm just summarizing the lecture. In this lecture we have seen two problems of representative problems of algorithm design. Two among them we have seen, and these are bipartite matching and independent set. In bipartite matching, we have seen the concept of what is bipartite matching, what is bipartite graph, perfect matching, and which is what is the solution, how we can find that perfect matching and all. Then we have explored independent set. We have seen what is independent set, then largest independent set or maximal independent set we have seen. What are the applications to which particular class these problems belongs to, and what are the ways to find the solution of this particular problem. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you.